Welcome to Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
My name's Ian, your mid-complexity casual gamer.
I'm Stacey. I'm your non-gamer gamer.
And we're here today with the Five and Dime. 2 lists, 1 category. Today's category is our top tabled games from June of 2024. I'm going to give you my top 10 games.
And I'm going to give you my top 5 games.
So let's get to the lists. Number 10. My number 10 game is a game that was new to us. It's not a new game at all. The original has been out for a long time. We got the duo version, and it was a lot of fun since it's just the two of us that play, and that is Blokus Duo. Blokus is a game where you have a certain color piece. In Blokus Duo, you have black and white pieces, and when you lay your piece down, you can only connect it to, you have to touch your color pieces, but only at the corners. And your goal is to try to make sure the other person can't place their pieces down. It's a great puzzle, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this one. I see this one hitting the table quite a bit since it's a pretty quick play. You have anything about Blokus Duo from this month being a new game?
I'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Ooh, spoilers.
Woo!
All right. Whoa, not number. Number 9 for me is Junk Art. Junk Art is a game that we actually learned last year.
1 year ago today.
1 year ago
Yesterday.
today. No, I think we actually went on July 1st because we were at the musical on my actual
True.
birthday.
True.
So we went to a board game cafe up in Denver, Colorado, and played this. We loved it so much, even though we weren't actually playing right because the guy just said, do this. And we loved it so much that we bought it. And then it
At the location we bought it, didn't we?
No, I don't think we got this. I think we got this one on Amazon. I think I ordered this on Amazon.
Okay.
And then it proceeded to sit on our shelves for a full year until this month. And we got it out and went, wow, it's so much better when you actually know what you're doing and you're actually playing by the actual rules. We thought the guy told us, who was talking to us, let us know how to play. But he's like, no, this is just how I play it, which was okay. It was fun. You're building stuff, but much more fun when you are playing with the
correct instructions.
With the correct instructions. Basically, you have 3 different cities that you're going to, and you're making art projects at each city, and you have different requirements in each city. I just like trying to balance the stuff and trying to make the art as interesting as you can. What did you what did you think about this game?
You know, it's interesting because, again, it's one of those things that every time you play is going to have a different outcome with it.
Yeah.
Each time you go, you have a different theme of what you need to build or do. And so I really enjoyed it with more than 2 people as well. We played it recently with my mom and my sister.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And they enjoyed it as well. It doesn't take, a lot of knowledge to play it. And so anybody of any range, I would guess, would be able to enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. So that was Junk Art, my number 9 for the month. Another pseudo new game for us. It came off our shelf, but it was not completely new to us. All right. My number 8 for the month is Draft and Write Records. This was a new game to me. I actually played it on Board Game Arena several times, and I really enjoyed it. I love my roll and writes and flip and writes. And this one I really didn't know what I was playing. The first time I played it, I was just clicking buttons, like, okay, do this. And I was trying to figure out, and I kept on losing a ton of points. And then I watched a playthrough on Board Game Geek and went, oh, that's why I'm losing points, because I'm not doing that. And I bought the game, played it several times solo, actually taught it to someone on Board Game Arena through a Discord chat. And basically what you're doing is with your cards, you're trying to build a band and take a tour and gain assets and just do everything associated with a band. Your band consists of your lead singer, your musicians, your crew. I guess it's your crew you're building. So you have your lead singer, your musicians, your backstage people, and your publicist. I don't remember what the 4 people are. If you can't do something with a card, though, you have to take a penalty. And then there are some cards when you're playing multiplayer that are actually scandals. So those are negative points as well. You're putting out singles, you're putting out records, you're going on tour. The unique thing about this, which is really cool from any other and right game, is this is a draft and write game, which means you're drafting cards. You're not just flipping cards over. And even in the solo mode, you're flipping 2 cards over, but you only get to choose one of them. So most flip and writes, you are flipping a card over and you're doing something with that card. With this one, in the multiplayer, it's great because you have a set of cards, you draft one, and then you pass them on, and then it comes back to you. Think if you've played Sushi Go Party, where you're drafting one card and playing it, and then you pass your deck, and then your deck might come back, or your deck comes back around you. Exact same thing, except for now it's a roll and write as well. So it adds that extra level of complexity. Love this game. This one is quickly moving up my and write list. So that is Draft and Write Records. And that one was played primarily solo or on Board Game Arena. The next one, my number 7, is another flip and write that is quickly moving up my list of flip and writes and roll and writes, and that is Pioneer Rails. This is a Kickstarter that I actually got last year. Finally got it off the table. The one thing I really like about this one, you can see the back. There are all these little areas on the board. And the cool thing about this one is the cards are multi-use. And what you're doing is you're using the cards. If you can see those cards on there, you can see they're poker cards. But they are also different colors. Each suit is a different color. So the color is what you're drawing your train tracks, your train tracks, or whatever you want to call them, to extend your networks. And the suit, or not the suit, the value of the hand, the card is what you are using for your actual, to make a poker hand to score more points. I actually did a playthrough of this one, I believe, earlier this month, which I will link below. So that was Pioneer Rails, my number 7. Moving on to my number 6 game of the month. And this one comes to us from Underdog Games, and this one is Her Story. In Her Story, you are creating a book about famous women. So what you're doing on here is you have all these women on this board, and then you have tiles here that you're grabbing that give you basically resources is what they are. And when you take them, you can draft it, a chapter, onto your planning board. And then you can basically you're holding that till later. Or you can take, at some point, you have to start making your book by creating your chapters. You can either take it from one you've drafted, or you can take one directly from the board. It's a really fun game. Really cool mechanics with the tiles, with the different resources on the tiles, and the fact that you can kind of reserve things and make your chapters when you can. And then your chapters may give you points. They may give you other resources you can use later. I know this is another one that you really enjoy playing.
Yes, I do. And I will discuss that again in a few minutes.
Another spoiler, I think.
Spoiler.
But we'll see where. All right. Now we are moving on to our top 5. So Stacey gets to start talking about her games. And her number 5 game.
Trekking Through History. I don't know what I'm doing there. So Trekking Through History. Ian talked about it. The thing I enjoy.
I haven't talked about it yet.
Oh, you haven't checked it out?
No.
Oh, spoiler. I'm sorry. Spoiling all kinds of stuff. So Trekking Through History, basically, is exactly what it says. You have this little dial right here that kind of, you move around it depending on how many points your card is, and you move around. You can draw wild, which makes you move less spaces if you want to. And the purpose of that is to trek through history. You need to gather your cards from from BC through AD, and you have to put them in order. If you have cards that you can't put in order, you have to basically start another chapter. The longer your chapter is, the more points that you get. This is a open drafting game, and so you can draft anywhere off of the board that is available. And I really enjoy this game. I love that the cards tell you information about the people and the time frame that you're drafting from. I'm a learner, and so I never really stop learning, and I love watching these kinds of shows. So this game is right up my alley. So that was my trekking at number 5.
Yeah, I think that's why underdog games kind of really hit a sweet spot for you. Is
Mhm.
you learn something out of them. Those types of games are ones that you really enjoy playing. So yeah, trekking through history. My number 5, moving on, is this beast right here, Expeditions. Got this one to the table again. I'm not going to hold this up. This is a really big game to hold up. Basically, you have a hex grid here that you are moving your mechs around and collecting resources and vanquishing corruption on them. And I play this one exclusively solo, so there's a couple of extra mechs that are moving around. Also got the Gears of Corruption expansion, which is the reason this one got to the table this month. And actually, I got the playmat this month as well, so it fit with our monthly theme. The Gears of Corruption adds another mech that comes on when you first get your first glory star, and then it kind of blocks stuff. Now, I will say in the solo game that I played, I only played it a couple times because I didn't have a lot of time. In the one game I played with the corruption, or with the mech, with the my brain is forgetting right now, the corrupted mech, it did not come into play much for me. I was able to stay away from it quite a bit. I assume, and I expect that in a higher player count, it is going to do a lot more damage on things, but I was never really near it. So it didn't really do a whole lot. Probably just where it came out versus where I was and where I wanted to go. And I was able to stay away from it. I don't think that's going to be always in a solo mode, but that was my number 5.
So my question on that one is, where in the heck do you store that bad boy?
Oh, that one lays flat in one of the cube shelves.
And
then stuff puts on top of it.
All righty.
Yes, it will not stand tall in the cube shelves.
Okay.
It will stand flat. And we are moving on now to our number 4s. So Stacey's number 4.
You know, I just can't stop talking about this game. In case if you watched other videos that we've done, this has been included, I think, in pretty much every single month that I've done.
I think so. I think we get this one to the table when we can. This summer's a little easier. This is actually from my board game club at school.
Yeah.
So we have it home for the summer.
It's easy to get it to the table. It's easy to play. It's easy to learn. I like to press my luck, so I just keep on rolling, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Basically, for those of you who have never played, you got this mat. Oh my gosh, my fingers all whackety whack. You got this mat that's numbered 1 through 12.
2 through 12.
Oh,
you can't roll 1.
Oh, I can if it can.
She probably could somehow. I don't know.
But number 2 through 12, you got a couple chances to get your dice to move up the stop sign. If you roll your dice and you don't match the line that you've already started, you bust, and you got to take your numbers off of that turn, and then you have to start over on that line. It's a fun game. I really enjoy it. I think it's moved down my list though, since I've learned some newer games though. So we'll see how it does. Maybe I can stop talking about Can't Stop one of these days, and move on from there. So that is my number 4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was on your list last month. I'm pretty sure it just missed my list last month, and I think it may have been on March, both of our lists.
Probably.
I think it just slightly moved off last month because I got some more games at the table in this month. It was actually number 15 on my list overall, so it dropped a few more spots. It's a fun game. I played a lot of new games this month that really, really hit a sweet spot for me.
What was our theme this month?
This one actually was not on our wall, but this one fit our theme because our theme this month was playmats, and there's a playmat for it. So I think that's one of the reasons we played it extra this month. We also taught her sister how to play.
Yes.
And I took it to a modified board game club. I did some stuff this summer. through a group that does some summer school type things where they do academics in the morning and enrichment in the afternoon. And we had a second grader going into third grade who goes to Highland, who one of her friends who was in my board game club took that home one year. And she's like, or one weekend last summer or last school year. And she's like, oh, can we play Can't Stop? And so the second time I came back for that group, I was like, because it's you and you've played it, yes. And then we had another kid playing with us. And man, take that kid to Vegas because his dice were rolling like crazy. Like he kept on rolling. I'm like, I don't know, you're rolling on really hard numbers. No, let me just move like 5 more times before I stop. I'm like, okay, we're taking you to Vegas. Roll some dice. All right, so that was your number 4. And my number 4 is the one that seems to be my stalwart on my top 10 list. And I really think that as long as I play this game in a month, it's going to be somewhere on my top 10 list. It has moved down, and maybe it was a little high last month, but that is Rolling Realms. And I love Rolling Realms. It is such a fun game. You roll some dice. You have 3 realms. You're putting your numbers in, trying to figure out what you're doing. I think one of the things I really like about it this month and why it's still pretty high on my list this month is got some new realms, but I've been doing a lot of tutorials, individual realm tutorials, and I got a lot done. I've got them actually scheduled for the next 3 weeks. And I'm still not done with the original ones. I'm trying to get them all done. The original base game and all the promo realms that are out. I'm doing individual realm tutorials for how to play each realm to try and help people understand some of the realms that might be a little bit more complicated, or just introduce the other realms to people who haven't played before. Trying to get them all done before Rolling Realms Redux comes out at the end of July. So that was my number 4, Rolling Realms. Like I said, that one has been on my list, and I think that one will probably stay on my list every month that we do this if I play it. All right, going on to number 3. Not that number 3. That number 3 with the orange meeple.
Can't say meeple.
Well, I don't think they're going to sue us. I don't think they know who we are, and they probably don't care. Okay. Meeple. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is a game that I have never played. It's a game that I didn't even ever play the original game. And I always thought it was pronounced a different way than it's pronounced. I thought it was called Blocus, but Blockus makes a lot more sense since they're little blocks. Duh. So Blockus Duo, or Blockus Duo. This is a really fun game. I didn't think I was going to like it at first because I'm not a visual person. I'm not one of those people that can sit down and figure out if this little shape is going to fit over here on this little area or not. But I did okay. I think I won the first time we played it. Or maybe I lost by 1 or 2 points. I don't know. It was a close game.
They were close.
But I blocked a couple moves that I didn't mean to, but then I pretended like I did mean to. So that worked out really well for me. But if you're a spatial person, you'll probably do really well at this. If you're a person like me who, takes a while to have to fit it in there and turn it around and do all kinds of things to, imagine how it's going to work, I think you'll still enjoy the game.
It's a fun one.
It's a fun game. So there's the board. It's a quick game. I think we played it in maybe 15 minutes, if that. So easy game to get to the table at night if you just want a little stress relief. Easy to put up, easy to take down. I really liked this game. Yep.
If you watch our Check the Challenges, you'll see that this is one of the new additions this month. I added a few new Andorites and a few new polyomino games for some future videos. Was a big part of it. All right. Blockus. Now moving on to my number 3 with the blue meeple is one of my favorite flipping rights, end rights. It was my number 1 solo game last year. It probably has been for a couple years now. I have everything for it, all the expansions, all the maps, all the mini expansions and everything. And I've also started doing some playthroughs for this on the channel, and that is Cartographers. And I just have a small box here. Do have the big collector's box with heroes and everything. I played this on the table 8 times because I played Cartographers, and then I did a film through for it, and then I replayed the first 3 maps just to remind myself how to do them, and then I did a playthrough for each one of them. I played it, and then on top of that, I played it once on the app, and I played it 5 times this month, I think, on BGA with some people. So, but this is just based on my tabletop plays of it, and really enjoy getting it back to table. I haven't had it to the table since I think December, probably, when I did a theme wall for the World of Ulos. And in Cartographers, basically, you are making a map. You are using the Queen's Edicts to make a map. You have 4 different criteria that you need to do. One is always based around the villages. One is based around farms and water. One is based around the forest. And one is always some sort of directional thing. And you have to fill in your map to score these different cards. You score the first 2 in the first season, then 2 and 3 in the second season, and then the 3rd and 4th one in the 3rd season, and then the 4th one and the first one in the 4th season. So figuring out which ones are going to score you the most points is always beneficial. I don't try to score all 4 of them. I look at which ones are going to score me the points. If something's going to score me 2 points for like 5 blocks on there, and something's going to score me 2 points for every block, I'm going to work towards that one. And there's sometimes where I completely ignore some of them. And if I can score on them, I do. But I go for the big scoring ones, and I try to see what is going to score at the end and see, okay, how can I build my map so that I am scoring the most points of that? Love playing Cartographers. Played the base game as well as the first 3 map packs this month. Had a lot of fun playing it, so that comes in at my number 3. And that one's, like I said, that one's another one I play solo or on BGA. I've had some 2 and 3 and maybe 4-player games. One thing I don't like, I actually prefer the solo mode of that because I'm not a take that sort of person. And I would rather have the ambushes come from the game to ambush me, and the game tells me where to put them. I really hate, and I was playing a game of this today and was talking with the guy, and it's something we both agree on. We really hate having to screw the person over. And basically, when an ambush comes up, you have to draw it on somebody else's map. And if you don't screw them over, you don't feel like you're playing the game. But if you do screw them over, you feel really bad. So that is really like the only thing I don't personally like, because that's not the type of player I am. So I actually like playing this one solo because the game tells you where to draw the ambush, and you don't feel like you are purposely trying to screw someone over so they can't place pieces. So that was Cartographers. And now on to Stacey's number 2 game, which, let's just go through this, also happens to be
Ian's number 2.
my number 2 game. And that is
Let's Go to Japan.
This one was new to us, and we seem to be having some internet issues. We're getting some really slow action. So if there's any errors on here, we apologize. We just noticed there's some really slow go. So I'm not sure what's going on with our internet right now.
Storms are coming.
Yeah, we've been getting some evening storms. So we're trying to get this in. We're heading on vacation. We want to get this done before so we can get it ready to post.
But we're not going to Japan.
No, we're not going to Japan. But yes, let's go to Japan.
So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I can start. So
Okay.
Let's Go to Japan was another Kickstarter that I backed that came earlier this year. And we got it to the table because of the playmats. It has an closed drafting system, which is really, really cool. And you're building out your trip to Japan over 6 days. And so you have to put things down that you take a card and you give a card to someone else. I really like that mechanic, and the fact that you are placing the stuff on your thing and you don't have to put them in any sort of order. You can put them down wherever you want.
Yes.
What do you want to? We don't rehearse and we just go on the fly. And we don't usually have games that we're both talking about at the same time. So
like I said earlier, I like games that kind of teach you something. Believe it or not, Let's Go to Japan actually teaches you something because you're traveling from Kyoto to Tokyo, and you can travel back and forth between the two by using the train that you get. That train allows you to go from place to place and back again, depending on which cards you're drafting. So you get your 2 cards, you look at them, either depending on what phase of the game you're in, on if you give over to your partner 1 card or if you give 2 cards. And then each card has a little
symbol, like a resource.
Yeah, a little resource that you can get that if you get 3 resources, then you get a while, or you get to a positive experience in Kyoto or Japan, and you get to move the tracker. Where is it? Right.
Well, you get to get one of the, you get a train, or you can take a walk with 3.
Yeah. But I really like this one, and I wasn't sure I was going to like it very well. But again, it's educational. The cards have little things about where you're going to visit. There's museums that you can go to. There's parks that you can go to. There's monuments that you can go to and visit. And then on that card, it gives you just a little something. You can learn some new Japanese words if you want to, if that's what you're into. I didn't learn any new words because I don't retain very well.
So there's 6 different experience types. There's a positive, like, happiness experience, like you did something at a very good rate or you did something very casually. There was an outdoors experience, a unique experience, temples experience, and
travel.
Oh, shopping experience. Shopping experience. So what you do when you set up your board is one person randomly sets them up upside down, and then everybody sets their board up the same. So everybody tries to have that experience on that day. And if you have, then the last card, you're putting 3 cards on the day. However many symbols of that day's experience gives you some sort of reward when you finish that day. And then at the bottom of the last card, so whatever card is on top, that is your major experience, or your whatever. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. The special experience. I don't remember the term. I don't remember the term. It's whatever experience you want to do. It gives you some sort of criteria that you need to meet before you get to that experience, and then you get some bonuses for that. So I really like that part of it too, that experience on each day. I like the closed drafting. So you're drafting, you're putting a card face down on the other person's mat. After you do that 4 times, after the first 4 rounds, you pick all 4 of those up on your mat, and then you have to play 2 of those, and you put the other 2 on the other person's mat, and cards start going back and forth. We had one card that neither of us wanted, and it went back and forth the entire game. You kind of was always hoping the other person was going to play it. Really fun game. Quick trivia about this that I just learned today. The guy who created this, Josh Wood, he created this because he was supposed to be going to Japan, and we know a lot about this sort of story. And then the pandemic hit. We were supposed to go to Scotland for our 10-year anniversary, and the pandemic hit. And so he said, well, if I can't go to Japan, I'm going to go to Japan. And he designed this game around creating an itinerary for going to Japan. So I learned that watching a video today. Which was really cool to find out about, because I did not realize that. So you have your activities, a lot of fun. It's a great game. It's the whole mechanic with the drafting and the closed drafting, and then you're giving it to other people. Much different than anything we have. So that was both of our number 2s for the month. So it obviously worked for both of us. And I did play a few solo games. The solo is so easy because instead of putting a card face down on the other mat, all you're doing is placing it in order on the day. And if you do jump back and forth, you do have to get trains in order to move. So you can earn bullet trains, which will actually give you happiness and points. But if you don't have enough trains at the end and you've jumped back and forth between Kyoto and Tokyo too much, then you end up having negative points, which you don't want. So you want to try and stay in one city as long as possible and not move back and forth. If you don't have to get the bullet trains, you can get what is called taking a walk, which gives you an extra activity on a day, which gives you extra points. So you want to try and stay in the same city as long as possible. You don't want trains, even though they give you points, because you can get other things if need be. So that was Let's Go to Japan, both of our number 2s.
And may I just say one thing
Yeah.
about that? The deluxe version, is that called the deluxe version
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
have? The deluxe version is absolutely amazing if you get that one. It actually gives you these little glass
Ceramic
little
token bowls
teacups
that were
that are absolutely like phenomenal for this for a game period. If you want to go back and check out Ian's unboxing of this game and see what exactly comes with the game, it's got a couple different boxes it actually does come with.
There was 3 boxes total.
It's crazy.
One for the game, one for the mats, and one for the ceramic token bowls. I don't think I want to put tokens in there though.
No.
And then the other thing was it came wrapped nicely in a cloth. Oh my God, just absolutely gorgeous.
So go back and check out his unboxing of that game if you're interested in that game.
We'll link that down below.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. All
right. And moving on to our number 1s. So first, Stacey's number 1 for the month.
Drum roll. Her Story. I like this game quite a lot. Ian's already talked about it. But I enjoy this more than he does. I like the set collecting on this and going through again, you learn. So another learner here for you. Tells you about all of the women of her story. And the cool thing about this is that all of the people who are behind this and researching all of these different women, everything from school kids up to
teachers, professors,
and everybody, finding all of the women to go into this box, and each card tells you a story about all of these powerful women, knowledgeable women, brave women throughout history. Ian already talked about it, so I'm not going to go on too much more about the playthrough of it. I do enjoy collecting all the little tokens that you put on your playmat so that you can earn the cards that are there. You can either take the top card if you have the available tokens for it, or you can take off of the
plan board.
I don't know what they call it. The plan board. I'm a gamer, non-gamer, so I don't have to use technical terms.
We're tired too because we've been trying to finish packing. We're literally leaving tomorrow when she gets home from work to drive up to Denver and fly out on Tuesday. So we're trying to just get this up so that it goes up in a timely manner and is not up like at the end of July.
Yes. But it's open drafting as well. Again, Ian's already talked about it in probably more eloquently than I can at this point. But Her Story, my number 1, again, an educational game, but if you pretend it's not educational, it's still fun. If you still just want to play it to play a game.
The mechanics of it are still really solid.
That's the word I was looking for. Mechanics. Oh, long day. But the mechanics of it are still really good. And then you make your little book at the end and you're supposed to read one of the chapters, which is one card, out of the book to your game people at the table at the end. I don't think we do that though. I just read them as
we usually read one. It tells you to read one. So you take your thing, you make your book, and then it says choose one chapter to read. And so we usually read one of them and then out loud, and then we usually kind of read a few others because it is really fun to learn. I think this was on our lists in March as well because it was Women's History Month, and we took it off the shelf for the first time since like last year because I wanted to teach it to my students at Board Game Club, and they loved it as well. So yeah, like they said, great game. Great mechanics, a lot of fun. It really could be any sort of storytelling. This could have been adapted for just any storytelling. You could have had just random story things that you put in a book and then read a whole book. I really like the learning aspect. That's one of the things I love about Underdog Games is everything's steeped in reality, and it's all, you're learning something when you're playing their games, and I really do like that. And moving on to my number 1, another one that has been talked about briefly, and that is, Underdog was big for us this month because Trekking Through History was my number 1. I will say that when I was doing my rankings on Pub Meeple, it was very hard. I got to some of these games, I'm like, I'm not sure, but I just love everything about Trekking Through History. Like Stacey says, you have this timer here, shaped like a pocket watch, And when you take one of your cards off of the row here, you want to put them so you're at the earliest time to the most recent time. What you're doing is you're trekking over 3 days through history. Each day, a different deck of cards comes out, but your trek can go over different decks of cards. You're trying to also make sure you only have 12 hours in a day. So when you take a card, it tells you how long that trek takes to do that thing, to visit that time in history. Mm-hmm. And you have to move that amount of space. The couple things I really like about this is if you move really far and someone is only moving 1 or 2 hours, whoever is behind gets to go next. So someone could easily get 2 or 3 turns in a row, and all of a sudden, like, I really want to get the card. Oh, wait. Shoot, they just took 2 cards I really wanted because I went too far on one. You can get these time crystals that allow you to take time away. So maybe someone says 4 hours, you have 2 time crystals, you can only go 2 hours. It only takes you 2 hours. And then the other thing I really like about this is on the row here, you get resources or experiences based on what type of event you go to. And then there's experiences on the cards as well. And then you have an itinerary here, which you are filling out and you're earning extra points. The one thing I like about that card row is it's got like a conveyor belt. So when you take one off, as a player, you may be going, okay, I really want that card. But if you don't realize that that card is going to possibly move somewhere else, and you're playing like, I need that card because I need that resource that's written on the mat, and then someone takes a card to the right of it, all of a sudden that card shifts to the left or to the right, and you go, oh, that doesn't have that resource anymore. You kind of have to readapt your strategy because you're like, I needed that resource, but I don't want that card that is on that resource now. Because you also don't want to jump too far ahead, because if you jump too far ahead and you can't get a card, then you have to start a new trek. When you start a new trek, you're basically giving up on your one trek, and the longer your treks are, the more years you can visit on one trek, the more points you get. So you don't want to restart treks. And then there is a slight little time warp expansion, which I've played with the solo mode, and I played the solo mode. The solo is phenomenal with this. The historian has one card that their stuff never comes off of. They'll earn points. They might take stuff from you. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the solo mode on this. That was Trekking Through History, my number 1 game. And that was our top 5 and 10 for the month of June 2024. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below. It would mean so much. If you like this video and you want to see more from us and get notified when, please hit that subscribe button up above. If you want to see our other 5 and dimes, including the last couple months and any other 5 and dimes that get posted, you can follow that link up above. And you can also follow that link to see our latest video. Once again, this has been Where There's a Will, There's a Play. My name's Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And we'll see you at the table.